Beyond lemonade stands, linking social emotional learning and the entrepreneurial mindset. My name is Claudette Shatto, and I am a professor of business and entrepreneurship here at Napa Valley College. But today, first and foremost, I am a mama. It's important that I share this because so much of what I'm going to talk about today really started with them. I'd like to introduce to you today Cameron and Caleb. It is no surprise that being son of a business professor, that Caleb was a kidpreneur at 6 years old. With the help of his brother, he created this logo and this flyer, Happy Kid Pet Sitting and Walking, about Caleb Lewis. Caleb Lewis is 6 years old and a responsible pet lover. He has experience with foster dogs. In addition to animals, Caleb enjoys riding his bike and hiking. He is a self-proclaimed nature boy. References available, call or text his momager.
Good.
What you're seeing here is not just cute photos of my kid, but let's admit it, he is pretty darn cute, right? What you're seeing here is confidence. What you're seeing here is personal money management. What you're not seeing here is him having to learn how to make small talk with adults, him having to look adults in the eyes, him having to create invoices, him having to have perseverance to solve problems. He created value and connection. That is the entrepreneurial mindset. In education, we call that social emotional learning, otherwise known as SEL. And I'm going to tell you, I actually really like what they're doing with the young kids nowadays. Do you remember when we were in school, we would sit in rows, right? Nowadays, they sit in groups, and they're learning how to work in teams. They even have a toolbox to help them regulate their emotions. I'm going to tell you, when I was growing up, I wish I had a calm down corner. Because as a grown-up, it's called my bedroom, and I closed that door, right? I wish I had a calm down corner when I was growing up. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in this audience that know grown-ups that could use an empathy tool, right? Well, one of the tools that we use often in our house, and I'll use it now, is the breathing tool. And as my kids matured into middle school, we really had to put that trash can tool into play. Don't litter the school with put downs, throw it in the trash, let it go. Social emotional learning is transformative, it's powerful, and it's working. So what is the entrepreneurial mindset? While they have different labels, they are fundamentally the same skills that shape future leaders, innovators, and change makers. The entrepreneurial mindset is not about launching a business. In fact, when people hear about my work with children, they think that I'm teaching kids how to run a lemonade stand. In fact, most kids who will successfully master this mindset probably will never go into business. It's about nurturing curiosity. It's about nurturing tenacity, public speaking, getting up despite failure. It's about going up that extra branch, creativity, personal money management, time management, and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. How I started teaching the entrepreneur mindset to littles. I actually have to give a shout out to Principal Helen Roca today. Happy Principal's Day. She's been a great leader to me and to my children as a principal at their elementary school. And she said to all of the parents, who would like to teach an after-school enrichment class? And my first reaction was, no thank you. I am not a Pinterest mom. I do not do arts and crafts, and I certainly wasn't gonna lead the kids in garbage art. Just saying, Gretchen, I know you're great at it. It is not my strength. So I said, no thank you. But then I thought, you know what? This whole time I have been teaching my kids the entrepreneurial mindset. What if we did that with the elementary age kids? So we did. We created an after-school program, and I started with 5th graders. Now what you're seeing here is lessons that I teach in the college classroom, but adapted to the 5th grade level. and it worked, and they got it. So then when we had this crazy idea, why don't we do this with kindergartners? Why don't we teach leadership to kindergartners? And it worked. Parents were giving us really positive feedback. They were telling us that their kids were coming home with the vocabulary and understanding the leadership concepts that I was teaching them in the classroom. So we kept doing it. In fact, I did it throughout Napa County. And again, I'm just teaching the exact same concepts that I teach my adult learners in the college classroom, but I've adapted it to the younger age. You'll notice here I'm teaching teamwork, using puzzles, synergy, the vocab word was synergy. But for the older kids, we're using a 300-piece puzzle, and for the little kids, we're using a 48-piece puzzle. Up there in the corner, those kids are learning about the circle of influence versus the circle of concern. And down at the bottom, those kids are doing a podcast. Those are 5th graders at Miller Park Magnet School, learning public speaking, and I was their executive producer. COVID slowed me down. Obviously, COVID slowed us down, but we adapted. We went on to Zoom, and as soon as I could get back into the classroom, I was in there. You'll see us all with masks on, teaching these kids leadership. And what I would do is I would read a children's book, and I would create these discussion questions and a learning activity. The same way I do in my college classrooms. You got to do the reading, we're going to have a discussion, and then we'll have an in-class learning activity. And this is, of course, pre-Chat GPT, so I was spending a lot of time on this. And I thought, why the heck am I reading somebody else's book? Why don't I write the book? So I did. I present to you Gazelle Hill. This was released in fall of 2024, and I'm really proud to say that within the first 48 hours of launching it on Amazon, it was the #1 new release in children's multiculturalism and tolerance. The main character here, Riley, you will notice she is a biracial character, which is a reflection of my own family, which was also very important to me because representation does matter. The story is about her having to take her training wheels off, and it absolutely is resonating with young kids, but really she's falling, she has to get back up, tenacity, she has to have resilience, she does positive self-talk, and she's pushing herself, taking a positive risk. All of these things, of course, at the end, because I'm an educator, I have discussion questions and learning activities. Here you see me, I am now in the classrooms and I am reading my own book. I'm happy to say I'm doing assemblies in Napa County and Solano County, but because I'm an entrepreneur, I thought, how can we scale this? Emily, are you here? She's not. Emily is my adjunct professor. She's Emily Oberman, and I'm really proud of Emily and I's work. We together presented the Children's Business Fair. This is something we've done for the last 2 years, and we've worked with over 75 students aged 5 to 17 on this business fair. Let me just show you, it's not a TikTok, it's actually an Instagram reel. Look at these young CEOs in actions. They're learning how to pitch, they're learning marketing, they're learning merchandising, they're learning analyzing their costs, they are learning about making goods and services, and of course that cute little 6-year-old, he's now in 6th grade. I want to give a thank you to Dr. Marriott. Thank you for believing in this process. Napa Valley College was the main sponsor. The Boys and Girls Club is the location that we had it at. Napa Valley Unified School District, they were a great partner, as well as the private school Blue Oak. But I have to give a really, really big shout out to the Napa County Office of Education, Anna Ishu. Thank you. She's also an adjunct professor here. They get the work that we're doing. NCOE gets the work that we're doing. And with Anna's leadership, we actually launched Business 101. So these young kids, aged 5 to 17, are coming into Napa Valley College classrooms. And what we've done is we adapted the lessons that we're doing in our classrooms. We adapted it for the different age groups. And Napa County Office of Education outreach team actually came in and were the professors for the day. We're doing really transformative work. my vision. I want to change the narrative. The entrepreneurial mindset is not about capitalism or greed. It enhances social emotional learning. It fosters the confidence to take risk, the resilience to overcome failure, and the adaptability to navigate change. Business leaders spend years developing these traits, but what if we started earlier? What if resilience, adaptability, and confidence became second nature in childhood? This is exactly why I focus on integrating entrepreneurial thinking into early education. We are not just teaching kids to run businesses. We're teaching them to lead their own lives, take ownership of their choices, and approach challenges with confidence. And now, more than ever, as AI reshapes the workforce, the skills of resilience, creativity, and leadership are what will set them apart. Machines may complete tasks, but only humans can lead. Imagine if every child believed they could try. That failing wasn't final. That their ideas mattered. That leadership was something they could do. Imagine if we didn't wait until college to teach students how to lead. What if we started in kindergarten? That's what linking social emotional learning with the entrepreneurial mindset makes possible. My call to action today. We don't need every child to start a business, but we do need every child to believe they are capable of trying, failing, learning, and growing. The connection between social emotional learning and the entrepreneurial mindset is clear. If we invest in these skills early, we prepare children for success in any path they choose. That's why I'm championing these lessons in classroom through my book and my work with young entrepreneurs. I want you to ask yourself, how can I instill the entrepreneurial mindset in the children around me? Offer a word of encouragement. Give them a challenge. Remind them that failure isn't final. These small actions have a big impact. And when we teach them that early enough, they don't just learn it, they live it. Brave every hill. Thank you.
Congratulations, Claudette. That was wonderful.
Is my website and everything in the back there? I teach marketing.